610 CKTB proudly supporting Help Kids Shine, a month-long campaign to raise awareness and funds for the Niagara Children's Center. And now, another story of how the Niagara Children's Center helps kids shine.
And today, joined by Dorothy Harvey, Director of Clinical Services with the Niagara Children's Center. Dorothy, how are you?
I'm very well. Thank you, Matt.
This is, it's been something you've been a part of for an awfully long time, isn't it?
Yes, my affiliation with the center goes back almost 30 years now. I started as a parent, had two children who came through services at the center and felt I really needed to contribute something back. So in my professional career, I'm a physiotherapist and I had also done some management training, so came back to actually work for the center because I was so impressed by the work that we did and felt it was such an important contribution to the Niagara community.
Are you one of the longest tenured people there or what?
I am,
okay.
Yes, I am. But it's all been great work, and I've so appreciated the support of Bell Media and our community over the years as we have looked to really trying to enhance the level of service that we can provide in the Niagara community. And this really is about local and about keeping things local and about providing supports to families and kids that they might not otherwise be able to access locally. And again, it's been our community that has been so supportive in doing that. So.
And I guess you'd be one of the best people to ask this type of a question too, but talking about the Children's Center and the growth over the years, how have you seen it kind of expand and kind of reach out into other areas for kids?
Well, I think we've become very much a partner and a collaborator in our community in terms of looking at, we've had both the fortune of ministry funding that has expanded and taken a leadership role in sort of saying, okay, yeah, that's a service that we can provide. It fits with our services. It fits with our mission, our vision, our values, and it is something that's going to be important to our families and kids and to the Niagara community. So when we look for opportunities to both look at what can we put together from a publicly funded perspective, but also then how does the fundraising we do actually support that? So not just thinking we're fundraising for the sake of fundraising, or we really have a thoughtful approach to how we use the funds that the community provides to us as well, and feel very strongly that we need to be very accountable. I mean, my role is primarily being responsible for ensuring the programs we deliver are of the highest quality and that they meet the needs of kids, families, and the Niagara community.
Which that's got to be pretty tricky because I think the needs are ever changing, and I guess really kind of our understanding of some of those situations is always growing kind of thing.
Absolutely, and a really large component of both my role as well as what the center does is we listen to our families and our community. So our strategic planning process, our family advisory network, it's one of the things that I feel the most passionate about, so that we're not just continuing to deliver services that we think we should be delivering. We're really listening to the people that are getting the service to make sure that we're keeping that customer focus and also our community focus. So whenever we think about, changing a service or delivering it, we're constantly looking at that feedback that we get, and those perspectives are the ones that help us decide. And they're also the perspectives that help us decide how we use our fundraise dollars as well.
Which obviously have become a very integral part of kind of the process here, isn't it? The money that's raised through this campaign.
Yes. This campaign is this campaign and the efforts that we have, and I work very closely with our development office to sort of say, okay, what are we going to pitch for this year? What are the things that we would really like to be able to do? What are our families telling us that they have to go out of area for? And those are the things we sometimes will focus on, and that's certainly where the dollars go as well in terms of those types of supports that allow us to be better even than what our ministry allows us to do.
Then let me ask you that question then. Like, where do you see, the next steps? Where can this Children's Center expand and kind of grow now?
Well, I think part of it is really looking at, as we think about where things are going within our government and looking at the, value for money, we have to really be able to look at the types of supports that families. So that goes back to that, we can have great ideas. We bring the expertise of what's clinically best practice right now and what's out there and what's new and innovative. But it's our families that will tell us whether that's going to work for them or whether that's going to be something that they see as being important in their own. And a big component of certainly our family engagement is helping our families understand what their needs are. What is it that they're, now that they've got either a diagnosis for their child or somebody has identified that they have a child that may have some specific needs in a particular area, a big part of our role is to help them understand what the implications of that are and to think not just short term but long term. Like, we really use a lifespan approach. It's not enough to sort of think about what we want to do in the next year. We also have to think about, so these children are going to get older, they're going to grow, these are the needs that we have for teenagers, and that's actually a big area. We recently took a program, the ministry transferred a program over to the Children's Center, which is to provide services in school for children called school-based rehab services. So, moving into that kind of area and thinking about what kids need at school and what kids need in the community. Our fundraising plays a big role in helping us support our therapeutic recreation program, and that's really about inclusion and quality of life and accessibility. So it allows us to think more about not just what do we do here on site or in our satellite sites, but how do we now get the message out and how do we support our accessible playgrounds and other areas like that as we think about moving forward.
That's the idea of continuing to move forward. I imagine when you talk about those parents coming in, the ones that are coming in at the beginning, that's probably the ones that you have to sit down the most with, right? Because they're just getting bombarded with information and
absolutely
helping them kind of weed through it.
And in an era of social media, and sometimes misinformation, it's really important for us to help families understand where to get good information, what is good information, and that means really building a partnership with our families. I think from some of the families that you've heard over the course of the last couple of weeks, those are families that are going to also help us build partnerships with other families. So the mentoring programs that we're offering, because unless you've walked in somebody's shoes, it's really, really challenging sometimes to be able to help them. Another family, meeting with a family who's been there, who has a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old, it provides them with hope, it provides them with guidance, and it also provides them with a perspective that it's not always easy to provide at a more clinical level. So that balance is what we feel is really important.
Yeah, and those families, obviously, from everything we hear, once you get involved, you kind of stick around just like you did, Dorothy.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for the chat today.
All right, thank you so much, Matt.
Take care. There's Dorothy Harvey, Director of Clinical Services with the Niagara Children's Center.
Help Kids Shine, raising awareness and funds for the Niagara Children's Center. To meet our ambassadors and make a donation, visit 610cktb.com.